Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Kari Moody. So today we do have an update on a case that started 4 years ago in Sullivan County, Tennessee, and that is the case of baby Evelyn Boswell. Evelyn's mom, Meghan Boswell, was back in court this afternoon. Her attorney is trying to get a change of venue. The judge has denied that, but get this: the DA has slapped her with another charge of first-degree murder. So this case started 4 years ago, and let's go back over kind of the timeline of events to just refresh our memory a little bit. February 19th, 2020, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation issued an Amber Alert for 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell on February 19th after she was reported missing on the 18th. Now, baby Evelyn had not been seen since December of 2019, almost 3 months earlier. And this is the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's tweet at that time. It was an Amber Alert, and they needed help locating 15-month-old Evelyn Mae Boswell. And she just precious. Gosh. CBS affiliate WJHL reported that Evelyn's grandfather, Tommy Boswell Sr., launched the investigation by calling the Department of Children's Services. February 20th, TBI released another photograph of Evelyn, hoping to reach more people. And their tweet said that Evelyn was last seen wearing a pink tracksuit, pink shoes, and a pink bow. She was reportedly last seen on December 26, 2019. However, she was not reported as a missing child until February 18th of 2020. There's another little picture of her. Gosh, she's just so stinking adorable. February 21st, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation reported that investigators were seeking information about a gray BMW and that the individuals traveling in it were connected to Evelyn. Now, this was pretty interesting if you guys followed this case back then. So basically, Meghan accused her mother of taking Evelyn. So they were on the hunt for this gray BMW that her mother and her mother's boyfriend were driving. And that was a gray 2007 BMW with Tennessee tags. So let's go over to where Meghan accuses her mother. So this was an interview that she did on February 24th, and she said her family identifies as gypsies, not a cult. 5 days after an Amber Alert was issued for 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell, her mother, Meghan, spoke to News Channel 11 in an on-camera interview. In that interview, Meghan made it clear that she knew where her daughter was and has since relayed that to authorities. Meghan said, "I told TBI where to find her in Mendota. My mom took her to a campground in a silver camper, and if they don't go tonight, I'm going to go find her myself because I've told them and they're not really like taking it seriously. And if they don't go tonight, I'll go myself and I'll go get her. They're not taking me seriously. TBI isn't because I've not fully told them. I've been like, hey, like my mom camped out in Mendota, go check them out. But I've never been like, hey, specifically, hey, she's like in a silver camper because my mom did threaten me, like, if I told anybody. I'm not going to get into that, but she did, Boswell said. And this is Meghan and her grandmother. Actually, I'm not sure who this was. I think this might have been a family friend in this picture with Meghan there as she was being interviewed. Boswell said that her mother was babysitting Evelyn because she had to go to work. So let's take a quick look at this interview. Pretty interesting stuff.
Know who has her. What do you have to say to them?
To just bring her back. I just want her back. That's all I want. I've been so long without her, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, why didn't you report it missing earlier?" Because my mom threatened me, and I just want her back. That's all I can think about. So much, I just want her back.
Talk to me about when you had the indication that she was missing and something was seriously wrong.
Just when she left and took off, and just to answer her phone.
How Talk to me about why your dad made that report.
Because he was talking to my mom the night before, and he was like, "Oh well, if she doesn't come home, I'm gonna call." And she was going on, "Well, you're gonna regret this. Like, I'm gonna have to leave and never be able to come back. You will regret this."
Was there a reason that you know you didn't make the call and it was your dad?
Because mom kept threatening me if I made the call.
Well, you said that you've had some issues with your mom in the past. Was there a reason you decided to let her babysit her that night? I know that you said that you had.
Well, she's my mom. I wanted to trust her.
Sheriff Cassidy told the media on Friday, I was there, that you were giving conflicting statements.
Because I wouldn't necessarily, I was trying to protect my mom, maybe in hopes, oh, well, she'd just tell them where Evelyn was, but obviously she's not going to.
So now you're coming out and you're saying this is the honest truth, that you know where she is.
I know she has to be in a campground in Mendota with somebody. And mom told me that they had a silver camper, and that's all she would tell me.
Are you cooperating as much as you can with TBI and the Sullivan County Sheriff's Department?
I am.
But just tell me, how so are you, constantly on the phone with them, talking about the tips, anything like that?
Yeah, and I've looked into stuff online myself. Like, people are like circulating pictures around me, like, oh, this is Evelyn, you know what I'm saying? And like that kind of thing. But no. And like Saturday, nobody would answer me, and I blew all their phones up. And every chance they've let me be up there, I have been up there.
And Wednesday will be a week since the Amber Alert went out. Tell me what you're thinking right now.
I just don't know the person who.
It's really, really wild to listen back on this interview. I remember watching it when it first aired, and knowing what we know now, this is just craziness.
Has her is like maybe scared that they're going to get in trouble, but they won't. They just bring her back.
What are you thinking about her current status right now? Do you think she is okay? Do you think she's being taken care of? And what is your message to authorities right now? To the TBI, Sullivan County, and all of the sheriff's departments and any authority that's working on this case?
Just that if they don't take it seriously, what I just said, I will go find her myself. They've told me before they'll arrest me for tampering with evidence. And I told them on my phone, I was like, I don't care if you arrest me for tampering with evidence. If you go up there, I'm going to tonight.
Do you have a message to the public?
Don't stop until she's back. They need to stop reporting like psychics for one. Like, come on.
It's crazy the amount of lies
not just waste the TBI's time when they could be actually trying to find my daughter.
The lies that she's so easily
this lady did
told.
tarot card reading. Like, I feel like that just takes away from the time of like them actually searching for my daughter. I'm just happy that people are coming together to try to find her, because the main important thing right now is the baby. I'm just happy that people are trying to find her.
Have you been in contact with her father?
Yeah, he's actually trying to get leave approved right now to come up here and try to, help find her.
What is her relationship like with him?
She's only been around him a couple times because when he was in the army.
And what is your relationship like with him? Do you keep in contact with him?
Well, yeah, we have a kid together. You know what I mean?
Did you notify him when you knew something was wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have multiple social media profiles? Is one that we've been getting.
Because I break phones a lot and I forget the password. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm really bad about remembering passwords. Now I have them all set to one, but, up until that point, I just, I just couldn't remember the password to them. So I'll just make a new one when I got a new phone.
Tell me why you wanted to come out today and speak with us.
Just to talk about Evelyn, and, if TBI doesn't go find her tonight, I'm hell-bent on going myself. And that's the truth, one way or another.
This is a really big case, and a lot of people have a lot of questions surrounding this. Is there any other message that you want to send to anyone?
Well, if you don't have tips for sure, because over 370 some tips have been called in and they've just not panned out. Like, I appreciate people trying to help, but like, also that's wasting like TBI's time, because they have to check out every single lead that's called in.
Obviously it's been a long time since you've seen her. Are you worried about that? About reuniting with her?
No, because I love her. I know she loves me.
And do you think she's been taken care of well in the time that you've missed with her?
I hope she has been.
Tell me what the first things you want to do with her.
I'm just going to hug her and not let her go.
Wow.
Like, they'll have to pry her from my arms. Literally.
Wow is
I'm
right.
Not to let her go. Probably going to sing Baby Shark to her. And just hug her, not let her go. My favorite thing is the first time she kissed me, Lord, I cried for over a week because she would pull my hair and I would just let her do it, because I love her. Like, I didn't want to make her cry or be upset in any way. And she would pull chunks of my hair out. And she was in her walker one night and, like, she dropped her sippy cup and I bent down to pick it up. And I thought, oh, she's going to pull my hair. She put my face close to her and she kissed my cheek. And I just, like, cried about it for over a week because I was like, oh, my God, I'm the first person that she's kissed. You know what I'm saying? Just, like, little stuff like that. I love her to death. And I would hate to have missed out on anything. Especially because of my mom.
And obviously, you told me you talked to your mom a couple of times throughout this. And each time, did she give you any update on Evelyn?
She just told me that she was safe.
So
She really thought she could nail this on her own mother.
Just the two of you on the phone?
It's just sickening.
Wednesday, the 19th.
Tell me any details about that conversation.
I mean, she was just going off on me and wanting to go to Mendota. And I kept telling her, I was like, if Evelyn's in Mendota, just take me to her. I will take her up there. We can just end this right now. Like, let's make this simple. Just give me my child back right now before this gets blown out of proportion. And she would never be like, oh, yeah, I'm taking you. She'd just be like, you don't need to talk to them. I don't want you going up there and, like, stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well, if you're not going to take me to her, pull over, and I will have, like, somebody on Sullivan County's end come get me to go up there and talk to them.
What is your biggest fear right now?
I have a lot of them. Just that I don't know that maybe they won't find her tonight, or maybe they don't find her tomorrow. Maybe it's weeks from now before they find her. The people aren't going to be like, oh, well, like, I'm not giving her back because I've kept her for 2 months. This is my child now. Well, still, I'm just worried that they're going to be angry about that. You know what I mean? No, right. She just needs to come home. Exactly. She's been away from her mom for long enough.
Oh, I know there are a ton of social media rumors.
Wow.
So if there's anything that you wanted to set straight that I'm not aware of, I will. This is
Gypsies are not a cult. They've been asking people if there's like a gypsy ringleader, and we're not like ringleaders. We're not like out here kidnapping babies or anything like that.
So would you describe your family as a gypsy family?
Well, yeah. And like my dad's very proud of that, but he's just mad about all the rumors going around, like trashing them because like we're not a cult, you know what I mean?
And now that your mom is back here and are getting ready to be back here in Sullivan County, what do you hope comes out of that? Obviously, she and her, I believe her boyfriend was arrested.
Well, I doubt she's going to tell the truth, but hopefully she does. For Evelyn's sake. Not even for her sake at this point. Just if she hears this, I hope you tell the truth for her sake. Like, that is your grandbaby. It's went on long enough.
Wow. Unbelievable, isn't it? Truly is unbelievable. All right. And then we also have this one.
Out to Maria this afternoon saying that she was ready to talk.
I love her and I miss her, that I'll be with her as soon as I can get to her any way I can.
That's Maggie Boswell's message to her daughter, Evelyn.
She's a happy baby. She hardly ever cries. She wants to wave and talk to everybody. She walks funny. She doesn't know how to pick her feet up.
Evelyn has been missing since December, but Boswell says she knows who took her.
You do know who has her. Are you worried about her safety?
Well, the reason I didn't report it or anything is because I knew the person who had her, and I didn't want them to run away with her. And as soon as they thought anything was going on, they just kind of vanished. So I'm just worried about, like where they're at, what they're doing with her at this point in time.
Boswell wouldn't reveal who took her daughter, but says they were watching Evelyn while she was at work.
They should just bring her back. They obviously know like what's going on, and they need to bring her back home.
When did you realize that they had completely disappeared?
So in a way, I knew that as soon as anything went down, the person was going to just disappear, and they have. And they've tried to find them. They won't answer phone calls. They've just kind of disappeared.
Boswell admits she'd do things differently if given a second chance.
Yeah, I've probably called the first day. I should have. But I just didn't want them to run with her like they have now.
In Sullivan County, I'm Maria Roberts, Fox 39 News.
All right. So that was Megan Boswell, and she's saying that she believes that her mother has her in Mendota, and I believe that was North Carolina. So they did find the car, and they did find her parents. Now, the next thing I want to share with you, let me get that up on the screen real quick. Sheriff Jeff Cassidy told the media that his office received conflicting reports about when Evelyn disappeared. He said one report indicated that Evelyn was last seen on December 26. However, Sheriff Cassidy told media that a babysitter claimed to have seen her on December 10th or 11th, and those dates were more accurate. Officials said the child's parents, Megan, other known as Maggie Boswell, and Ethan Perry were both involved with the investigation. Perry, the sheriff said, was stationed in the military in Louisiana. The sheriff said the mother had full custody of Evelyn. However, the sheriff said some of the information from the mother had not been accurate. Her stories aren't leading up to stuff we went out and checked on, the sheriff said, pointing to video surveillance evidence and eyewitness testimonies, but he would not clarify what those were. The sheriff described some of the information as conflicting and inaccurate. The sheriff said they believed Evelyn was alive. As of February 21st, the TBI said more than 300 leads had come in about Evelyn's disappearance, none developing into any credible sightings. Also, as you just saw, on February 21st, Megan spoke with WCYB outside of a Bristol courtroom. That is when she told them that she knew who had Evelyn and she didn't want to contact police because she thought the person would disappear with her daughter. As she said, she didn't report it or anything. I knew the person who had her and I didn't want them to run away with her. I'm just kind of worried, about where they are at, what they're doing with her at this point in time. She claimed that Evelyn was with a person she trusted to watch her daughter while she was at work. And like I said, we just saw that video. And then on the night of February 21st, now again, this is in 2020, you guys, this is 4 years ago. Several hours after Megan spoke with WCYB, the TBI announced that the vehicle wanted in connection to Evelyn had been discovered in Wilkes County, North Carolina. Evelyn was still missing. The two people identified as William McLeod and Angela Boswell, who is Megan's mother, the grandmother to Evelyn, and her boyfriend, William McLeod, were arrested in connection to the vehicle for theft over $2,500. However, they did not find Evelyn at all. So they announced that the search continues. A petition called Evelyn's Law was launched and addressed to the Tennessee State Senate. It asked lawmakers to craft a law making it illegal for parents to wait longer than 24 to 72 hours to report a missing child, and that law did pass. February 23rd of 2020, TBI released a new photograph of Evelyn and said agents and detectives were working around the clock to find her. Those eyes. February 24th, 2020. On the afternoon of February 24th, TBI released new video of Evelyn and new information. So let's see if we can watch that video.
From TBI headquarters, I'm Josh Devine. Here's the latest in our ongoing search for Evelyn Mae Boswell. As you'll remember, she is a 15-month-old girl missing from Upper East Tennessee. She's white with blonde hair and blue eyes. She stands 2 feet tall and weighs 28 pounds and has been the subject of an Amber Alert for several days now in Tennessee. We know you have a lot of questions about this case. So do we. We thought we would take the time to answer a couple of frequently asked questions we've been seeing across social media. First, why did it take so long to report this child is missing? Well, we just don't know. That's what we're trying to determine through our ongoing investigative efforts. When was the child last seen? December 26th is listed as the date she was last seen. However, the child's mother, along with others connected to this case, have been giving some conflicting information. Where should tips be submitted? We would urge you to please call 1-800-TBI-FIND with any information about this case. We ask that you do not submit tips through social media. Those platforms are not monitored 24/7, and we are currently not set up to receive crime-related tips through social media. Is there an active search? Agents and detectives continue to follow up on relevant leads. However, there are no active searches as we do not have definitive information regarding Evelyn's whereabouts. So, what can you do to help? We ask that you continue to share her photos and information released from official sources, which include the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office. This is a very complicated case, and we appreciate your questions. However, we aren't in a position to talk about everything we know about this case publicly. Right now, our primary focus is on finding Evelyn. TBI agents are working alongside the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office and the FBI to do just that, as well as determine exactly what happened to her. We would urge you to follow us here on social media at TB Investigation for new details in this case as they emerge.
All right. So that was while they were still looking for Evelyn. And then it goes on to say more about, her mom taking her to a campground in a silver camper and that the gypsies aren't like cults. Now, if you guys remember this case on social media, if you think Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers are crazy, this was insanity on social media. Truly insane. February 25th, 2020. WJHL reported that Meghan told them in a Facebook message that she was pregnant and she couldn't take a polygraph test because of it. Around 4:20 p.m., TBI reported that more than 500 tips related to Evelyn's disappearance had been reported. At that time, there were no credible sightings. A sweet baby. There were unsubstantiated reports circulating on social media that investigators were going to Mendota to search for Evelyn. The sheriff's office said that was not true. Captain Andy Seabolt said investigators did ask the U.S. Marshals and the Washington County, Virginia Sheriff's Office to check campgrounds in Mendota yesterday, the February 24th, but there has been no further mention of Mendota today. The response came after the child's mother spent hours in the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office on Tuesday. As of 9 p.m. that night, she was still at the sheriff's office. News reporter Robert Grant was at the scene and spoke with a group of people waiting outside the sheriff's office, ready to confront Meghan about Evelyn's disappearance. Let's take a watch.
In Sullivan County right now, up in Upper East Tennessee. We are at the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office, where the sheriff here and the front desk staff is telling us that Meghan Boswell, the mother of 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell, is currently inside talking to investigators.
Again, if you're just joining us, this case has been solved. The baby has been found, and the mother is set to go to trial for the murder of her. But I just wanted to make that clear in case you're just joining us.
We've been here for several hours now. I've been here since about 4 o'clock this afternoon. And that's when we first found out that Meghan Boswell was here talking to those investigators. I've been here ever since. And so far, we still understand that she is inside talking to those investigators. I'll flip the camera around here. So this is the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office. Again, for those of you just tuning in, where we believe Meghan Boswell is inside talking to some investigators. All of this surrounding the Amber Alert. At the center of it, Evelyn Boswell, that 15-month-old, reported missing February 19th. Now, we do believe that Meghan has been here for several hours. I know I arrived personally myself around 4 o'clock this afternoon, and she has been here ever since then. We last checked in just before 6 o'clock, and they said that she was still here talking to those investigators. We have not seen her leave at this point just yet. But I'm going to come over here and we have a timeline for you guys. And if you can click on the link, you'll be able to see, for a lot of people trying to follow, did just say that earlier today. Now, also earlier this week, Angela Boswell, that is the grandmother of Evelyn, she was arrested. And Meghan says that Angela had taken Evelyn to Virginia, to Mendota, Virginia, to a campground there. Sheriff's office says they looked into that and did not find any evidence that Evelyn was there. So again, another kind of conflict or a lot of questions surrounding that. And they've been saying this since Friday last week, the sheriff saying that this has been kind of a confusing and conflicting case. And they do have a lot of questions about the things that Meghan Boswell has been saying surrounding the investigation. And now for those of you tuning in, I see that we've got more coming on. I'll flip the camera around here one more time. We are in Sullivan County right now, up in Upper East Tennessee, in the sheriff's office here. We've been here since 4 o'clock or so this afternoon live. There's a link there. That was actually last seen in December. Evelyn's mom, Meghan, said that she was seen December 26th, just the day after Christmas. However, a babysitter said that she was actually last seen on the 10th or the 11th. So there's kind of a lot of conflicting reports right now, and that's one of the reasons the sheriff's office came out last week on Friday in a press conference saying that there were some conflicting reports coming out of Meghan Boswell, Evelyn's mother there. So, of course, a lot of questions. That's why we're here trying to get some answers. Again, we did find out that Meghan is inside here. The sheriff's office here says they don't particularly conduct those polygraph tests. That doesn't mean that somebody else couldn't maybe do that instead for the investigation. But a lot of questions here. And again, that timeline, that link that's up there will hopefully answer a lot of the indicted on those charges of theft of stolen property there. That was in connection to a gray BMW.
So he's talking about
that was put out by
Meghan's
the
mother,
TBI a little
Evelyn's
while ago.
grandmother.
And again, the TBI saying today that they've had more than 500 tips coming in. Unfortunately, none of those leading to any credible sources of her whereabouts. Of course, you can imagine all the work going into that right now. To Meghan tonight.
I wasn't sure if he would
From what
share
we understand, she is still here at the sheriff's office.
anything new.
Investigators, and from what we understand, she's case. And the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office saying that there's been a lot of conflicts here, a lot of questions. And I know a lot of you have had questions as well. Again, we will be working to try to get those answers from Meghan. Hopefully she does. 11 o'clock news on WVLT timeline puts everything out as they've been called in. Meghan saying that she building here did closes at 6 o'clock, but that doesn't mean that investigators will have the latest on that news app. And of course, the latest on WVLT tonight at 11 o'clock and on the CW at 10 o'clock. But for now, have a good night, everybody.
Okay, so that didn't provide us with much more information than I had already told you. I was hoping it would. Nearly 5 hours after that interview or after that reporter had arrived there at the Sullivan County Jail, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation announced that Meghan had been taken into custody and was being charged by the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office with false reporting. So her initial charge was just false reporting. Evelyn was still missing. The sheriff's office said Boswell's bond was set at $25,000 and that she was being held at the Sullivan County Jail. Now, Robert Grant went live again after Boswell's arrest was announced. On February 26th, the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office held a press conference after the arrest of Meghan Boswell. Let's take a listen to that press conference. So this would have been, I believe, the second press conference that they did, possibly the third one. I believe it was the second.
Saying that we've been looking for baby Evelyn since last Tuesday. We've been working 24/7 nonstop. As you all know, she was first reported missing last week, and we're still searching for her and working to determine exactly when she disappeared. We have followed up on over 570 tips, along with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and Federal Bureau of Investigation. We've been working as a team on this ever since baby Evelyn's went missing. At this point, most of you are aware that we've received a number of conflicting, inaccurate statements from the mother, Meghan Boswell, Evelyn's mother. During the investigation, we determined that some of the statements Meghan Boswell provided to us were false. Many of the false statements that Meghan made delayed our investigations and also impeded our investigations on trying to find Evelyn. As a result, she has been charged with false reporting. Because the investigation remains active and ongoing, we can only release specific answers to this investigation. Of course, everybody knows that a lot of the stuff that we've received, with it being conflicting and inaccurate, and a lot of the information you all are receiving are from the mother, Meghan. A lot of the stuff that you're seeing out on social media and a lot of the stuff that has been relayed to you hadn't come from our office. So we want to release the most accurate information to you all, and we want to be promptly in doing so. So a lot of the stuff that you all are getting is from the mother, and you take with it what you want, but she has been inaccurate, conflicting statements all through this investigation. If you have any more information or need information about these specific charges and about maybe the future of this case, I would like to refer that to our District Attorney General, Barry Staubus, or District Attorney General office, okay? Also, if you have any questions relating to the Amber Alert process, of course, I'd like to refer you to our Public Information Officer for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Leslie Earhart. However, please know that we remain committed and continue to do everything possible to find out what happened to Evelyn. And as always, as soon as relevant information and accurate information, I want to really reiterate that as it comes to us, we will get that out as soon as possible. Okay. Anyone with relevant information concerning Evelyn's whereabouts are asked to call 1-800-TBI-5. Okay. I'm just going to take a few questions because everything we have released to you, that have been proved to be relevant or misinformation. So there's not really much that we can answer because, like I say, this is an active, ongoing investigation, and we don't want to have conflicting stories, and social media has really impeded this investigation. So we really want to get just accurate information out to you all. Okay, so I'll take a few questions, and my public information officer, Captain Seabolt, will take us if you have anything relating to the missing vehicle and the bolo that we put on the BMW and the charges on the grandmother and Mr. McLeod. Okay.
Sheriff, yesterday, Meghan Boswell told us that she couldn't take a polygraph because she was pregnant.
Right.
Can you kind of touch on the fact that you guys maybe have not administered one of those to her, or has she received a CBSA or anything like that?
She was never asked to meet us for any polygraph. We don't actually have a polygraph examiner. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation does the polygraphing. We never set up any type of interview for her. And the pregnant statements, I'll have to leave that to her. That's information she released to you. Of course, it being medical, there's HIPAA violations that we have to look into, and I can't release that information at this time.
Sheriff, do you still believe Evelyn Boswell is alive, and are you any closer to finding where she is?
I hope and pray. My staff hopes and pray, and everybody working on this case hope and pray she's alive, and we're going to continue to work just like she is alive.
Sheriff, as more time elapses, is this case becoming more complicated?
Well, it was complicated from the beginning. Good question, but like I say, we were it was just reported last Tuesday. Last known sighting verified was 1st of December. So we were already behind the 8 ball, 67, 68 days before she was even reported missing. So a lot of the tips that we followed up on, they hadn't been really relevant to or pertinent to our investigation.
Sheriff, we're hearing that authorities in Wilkes County are searching in a pond in connection with this. Speaking of those social media rumors, is this true, and how can we combat this?
I'm glad you brought that up, Ansley. I meant to tell you all that is just information we just received. And
I sure wish reporters would use
they are
microphones
looking,
during these news
in
conferences.
an area in Wilkes County, North Carolina. It wasn't asked from anybody that I know of from our agency or Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, but they are actively looking at a area in Wilkes County, North Carolina.
And this is in connection with Evelyn Boswell?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the reward money still at $56,000?
No, it's up to $59,850.
How frustrating is it for you as the rumors on social media have circulated? We've heard reports possibly of Virginia Beach, now North Carolina. I mean, you have any idea where these leads are coming from, and kind of how are you working to combat those that are false?
Well, that's one thing I want to relay to the public. You know, law enforcement has to work on probable cause. We can't go on assumptions, gut feelings. We have
Some
to
people
have
need to hear that again.
relevant, sufficient evidence to prosecute a case. So with that, you know, I got with the district attorney general late last night while we were working on this case, and all we have at the time was false reporting. So we arrested her for that. And like I say, our main concern right now is find Evelyn. But like you said, very frustrating. 2 months before she's even reported missing, it puts us behind, puts our investigation behind. And then, like you say, speculation, people posting on social media, assumptions. We can't go on assumptions. We got to have fact. And with fact, we have to have probable cause before we can execute search warrants, make arrests, if that makes sense.
Facts and probable cause, something a lot of YouTube doesn't seem to grasp.
The community has been outstanding. The outpouring support of the support from the community, but you gotta think of our timeline of 2 months, over 2 months of her missing. We would love to have a grid search area and form search teams to assist us in locating Evelyn, but 413 square miles in our county, and then there was a possibility of Mendota, some possibilities of North Carolina. You could imagine the labor intensive work we would have to have just trying to form a search team. If we can get some information to where we can narrow that down to in a mile grid area, we would be glad to have more help. But just prayers, concerns, support from our local community and all over the nation has really been outpouring, and we appreciate the prayers and support.
Sheriff, have you been able to speak to the grandmother since she got back from Wilkes County?
I have not myself, but she has been questioned by investigators.
What has she told you?
I'll leave that up. That's still under investigation. I really wouldn't like to comment on that.
Sheriff, I know that one more question. You've all said that her story has changed. The mother's story has changed multiple times since you guys initially started talking to her.
Yes,
since she's been arrested, has her story changed yet again, or kind of what has been like?
Every time we talk to her, her story changes.
Well, that's because Megan's a
Seriously, I say
habitual
that
liar,
every single time.
if you haven't figured that out yet.
The last verified sighting of 4th December, a moment ago, we previously heard it was 10th or 11th.
10th or 11th is what I've been going on simply because it was verified by somebody that's not lied to us.
Is that the babysitter?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
So he's talking December 10th or 11th.
We've interviewed everybody.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And like I say, we will promptly get information out to you as it comes to us when it's relevant and accurate. So like I say, just be patient with us. I appreciate your all's patience, but as you can tell, this is a very, very difficult case. And whenever a lot of stuff comes to us, it's just not accurate. And I don't want to get that to you all. Okay? Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. So that was after she was first arrested just on giving false information, false reporting, after continuously giving bad information and conflicting reports. He said, every time we talk to her, her story changes. I'm serious when I say every single time. Just after the conference ended around 1:40 p.m., investigators in Wilkes County received a tip and kicked off a search for Evelyn near a pond in Wilkes County. The pond was located north of Wilkesboro. Now, again, social media played a huge role in this case and it hindered the investigation. As you can see, they're being sent all over the place. We're going to Wilkes County, Mendota, North Carolina, Wilkesboro. You know, they were having to follow up on all these tips and it slows down the investigation. Just after 4 p.m., it was reported that the property at the center of the search for Evelyn in Wilkes County, North Carolina, was connected to Boswell through family. Property records show a home near the pond is owned by a family member of William McLeod, the boyfriend of Evelyn's grandmother. And then around 5:20, the Wilkes County Sheriff's Office announced the search for Evelyn in the pond was inconclusive. Investigators used a remote-operated vehicle to search the pond, and they found nothing. Of course, we now know that. On Wednesday evening, an alleged friend of Meghan's spoke to WVLT News and said she believed Meghan knew where Evelyn was and who had her. Investigators said Meghan repeatedly offered conflicting stories. So let's see if there's a video with this. And it looks like there might be. So let's try it.
Friend of the missing toddler's mom tells us she thinks Meghan Boswell knows exactly where her child is.
Yeah, Christian Arnett says Boswell always came across as a good mother, often serving as a primary caretaker of her younger siblings.
Arnett says she's been talking with Boswell ever since Evelyn disappeared, which again was likely back in early December, but she's now starting to doubt her stories.
I do think she knows. I think she knows where Evelyn is. I think she knows who has her.
In text messages between the two, Christian says Meghan Boswell expressed fear about the person who has Evelyn.
All right, so I guess that was it. There wasn't much to that. But again, a friend saying that she didn't believe Meghan at this point. Later that evening, the news spoke with William McLeod, connected to Meghan's mother, Angela, over the phone. McLeod had it called Hood Bonding in Kingsport, Tennessee, and they interviewed him via the phone. He said he had only seen Evelyn one or two times since he began dating Angela Boswell in June of 2019. He said he had offered to do a polygraph test and offered his DNA to investigators. As of about 10 p.m. on Wednesday night, the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office said there were no updates on Evelyn. Then we're at February 27th of 2020. Angela Boswell and William McLeod appeared in Bristol court. McLeod's bond was lowered to $10,000 with the caveat that he wear an ankle monitor if he was released. McLeod's grandmother, Mary McLeod, said her grandson and Angela Boswell came to her home on February 21st, the same day the two were arrested, and they had asked for gas money. Mary said her grandson's feet were wet. And this is kind of what tipped off searching that pond. Around 5 p.m., police in Yadkinville, North Carolina, confirmed they were investigating a tip that Evelyn was spotted at a KFC there with her grandmother and McLeod weeks previously. Now, see, this was not true. None of these were true. But here we have Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and Sullivan County Sheriff's Department having to run around for these tips. Most of them that came by social media. At around 7 p.m., the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office addressed claims that Boswell was pregnant. Captain Andy Seabolt said, "I cannot confirm or deny her pregnancy. What I can tell you is that the jail medical staff keeps track of pregnant inmates for obvious purposes. On Monday, February 24th, there were 4 pregnant inmates. On Tuesday, February 25th, there were 4 pregnant inmates. Meghan Boswell was booked in at 9:19 p.m. on Tuesday. The pregnant inmate count went to 5 on Tuesday, February 25th at 11 p.m. when a pregnant woman was booked in. On Wednesday, February 26th, the pregnant inmate count was 5 total. No, Meghan was not pregnant. Just another lie out of her. On February 28th, investigators confirmed they were looking into a mobile home in Sullivan County, Tennessee. The man who lived at the home said authorities took something from the scene. The man, identified as Zachary Warfield, said he saw officials digging up quote unquote soft ground near the home. And we'll watch that if I can get the mouse over there. It doesn't look like there's any sound with it. And this says as of about 4 p.m., TBI had received more than 750 tips, but there had been no confirmed sightings of Evelyn Boswell. This is a TBI update of February 25th, 2020, that the mother of baby Evelyn has been taken into custody and charged with false reporting. Evelyn was still missing, and the Amber Alert was still active at that time. March 1st of 2020, TBI says they received 770 tips in relation to Evelyn's disappearance, but none of them led to confirmed sightings. Such a sad, sad story. March 2nd, on Monday, Meghan Boswell appeared in court before a judge. She was charged with false reporting, and the judge denied her request to lower her bond from $25,000 to $10,000. Her next court date was set for May 8th at 9 a.m. The Sullivan County Sheriff's Office asked for the public to stop sharing false information on social media. I don't know how many times we have to say that. This is her court appearance.
For 48563, which involves Meghan Boswell. She's the sheriff present in the courtroom, represented by Mr. Sproles. The courtroom today for today being March 2022.
Judge, Ms. Boswell is due to waive her preliminary hearing and the case down there, which is very
Ms. Boswell, you were your lawyer, see?
Yes, sir.
False reporting is class D felony, 2 to 12 years, right? 2 to 12 years. Has to be disposed of in criminal court. So what he says you want to do is not have any witnesses here before the hearing. He talked with you about that.
Yes.
And so if you want to give it up, you can do that. That means you won't be witnesses. Do you have any questions about that?
No.
You give up the chance to hear witnesses testify, at least briefly, under at least some testimony, and then your lawyer asks you a question. You're giving us that opportunity in case goes on the criminal court. Have any questions about that?
No.
Raise your right hand. Just read what you just said is the truth, or what anything else you're not saying the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, you should hold it silent. And the reset sheet there, Mr. Picture one there, Mr. Owens, let's see what the reset date is. What is it, May? May 8th. So the fill out across the top, strike out the other sections, put in criminal court, and the appearance time is May 8th. So you give.
So we're still in 2020 here.
The criminal court is what? Mr. Sproles is appointed only for this court.
Again, this was just for the charges of false reporting.
What's your birthday?
3/21/2001.
Address?
539 Moody Road.
You work anywhere when you're not in jail?
Yeah.
Where's that?
Underneath Chicken Shack.
Jail, I mean,
Underneath Chicken Shack, Your Honor.
where's that?
In Buffalo.
So the chicken shack in Blumpville is where she is working. That her boyfriend owned that business. Well, his dad owned it, one of the two.
Other than that, do you have any income other than that job? Raise your right hand, you swear the information you put for government property. Raise your right hand, you swear the information is true.
Yes, Your Honor.
Swiftly show me the sign of the name. That's what Mr. Sproles being appointed represents you. This level. When you get to criminal court, if you need to have an appointed lawyer, you'll have to ask the criminal court judge about that. Mr. Sproles is appointed only for this courtroom. Have any questions about that? Ms. Boswell, any questions about that?
No, Your Honor.
Should we give you a piece of paper that asks that court make it says, whatever we just said, make it label something in criminal court? Go ahead, Mr. Sproles.
Judge, we asked the court to reduce her bond. She's currently unable to make a $25,000 bond. In support of that, Judge, we would show she's been a lifelong resident of Sullivan County.
Boy, they held her on a $25,000 bond for that false reporting. They were determined to keep her in jail, weren't they?
Family ties to the community. As far as we know, her mother, all her immediate family is here in Sullivan County. She has no prior criminal record and no prior failure to appears or other issues with missing court dates. And as I said, she has no prior record that would pose a risk of danger to the community. So, Judge, I believe that on a class B felony, an appropriate bond for her, especially with no prior convictions, would be approximately $10,000 bond. So we're asking the court to lower her bond to that amount that she may be able to make.
Is that if she's in jail also?
I understand, Judge, that, this wouldn't clear the way, but if that juvenile court issue is resolved, we won't be able to bond.
Judge, just briefly in response, the state has no evidence or any knowledge of any prior criminal history. However, the state would ask the court to consider the nature of this offense by reading of the affidavit of complaint, and based upon reading the affidavit of complaint, it is state's position that the probability of conviction in this case would be high, and of course already.
Discharge.
Correct, correct. And that the court's already advised regarding the positive sentence of 2 to 12 years. There's an absence of any responsible members of this community that appears today before your honor to vouch for her or her reliability. And as far as her home situation, your honor, the address that she provided the court is not the address where she was residing at the time, and the place where she was residing at the time of this offense, it's my understanding she would not be able to return there, and she had only been at that residence for a brief period of time, and so based upon that, her, although she does have ties to the community, her residence is in question and is unstable. So the state would ask the court to consider those as consent law.
If I could just respond to the last issue there. The address that she provided is different than the address she lived at before. That's an address of a family member who she has made arrangements with.
You'll notice I didn't ask for it.
The address she gave you is one that she would be able to live at if she were.
I think the law that's appropriate for charge is we want certain. Also consider the fact that there's another 4 words different judge. Which time is, May, May 8th?
Yes, sir.
May 8th, 9 o'clock, we'll continue $25,000. And that is disposed of only according to this
Good evening, and thank you for being here. I'm Leslie Earhart, a public information officer for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. First off, I would like to thank each of you for your assistance in sharing information about this case from the very beginning. This is certainly not the update we had hoped to provide this evening.
So, real quick, this is when they found baby Evelyn's body, and that her body was found on the property owned by her father, by Evelyn's grandfather.
Before we get started, you should know that this is a very active investigation. We understand that you have a lot of questions, but please understand, in order to preserve the integrity of the investigation, there's not a lot that we can release at this time. Sheriff Jeff
I feel
Cassidy
like they
will give a
always say
brief
that.
statement, followed by District Attorney General Barry Staubus. Sheriff.
I'm Jeff Cassidy, Sheriff of Sullivan County. I first want to thank the community for their outpouring of love, support, and prayers for the last 17 days when sweet Evelyn was first reported missing. I want to thank the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and our detectives and officers for their persistence, dedication, and hard work in trying to locate Evelyn. This evening, we received information that led TBI agents and Sullivan County detectives to a property belonging to a family member of Evelyn's mother in the 500 block of Muddy Creek Road in Blumpville. During the search, investigators discovered human remains believed to be those of a 15-month-old girl. The remains will be sent for an autopsy and a positive identification. At this time, the investigation is in the very early stages. There's a lot of work left to be done, and right now, this is the extent of what we can provide today. I would now like to introduce our District Attorney General, Barry Staubus, who can advise you how the case will progress from here on forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, I first want to say I want to thank law enforcement. We've been involved as part of the investigation since its inception, and it's been excellent working relationship with our office and the TBI, the Sheriff's Department, and the FBI. And at this point, as the Sheriff pointed out, we're just in the beginning stages of the investigation. And at this point, we're just going to continue working. There's a lot of work to still be done. And at that, we will evaluate our case and what we're going to do next after we conclude our investigation. So based on what has happened tonight, there's a lot of work to be done forensically and just old-fashioned investigative work. So thank you.
Thank you for coming.
All right. So that was on when they found her body. That was on March 2nd of 2020. Look at that sweet baby. March 9th of 2020, Meghan Boswell appeared in a Sullivan County court Monday morning, marking her first appearance since the remains believed to belong to her daughter Evelyn were found. A judge raised her bond to $150,000. During the hearing, investigators with the TBI revealed details about what they found during the search that led to the discovery of remains. TBI Special Agent Brian Fraley testified in court that when he interviewed Meghan, she made several false statements, which he said cost investigators time during the investigation. Fraley said a body of a child, approximately 1 year to 1.5 years old, was found during a search at a home in the 500 block of Muddy Creek Road, belonging to Meghan's father, brother, and grandmother. Investigators found clothing matching the description of the clothes Evelyn was last seen in, as well as other child's clothing, toys, and diapers. Boswell's case at that time, is expected to be bound over to a grand jury in April. A memorial set up by deputies and members of the community for Evelyn had to be moved due to a neighbor's complaint.
All right, we're live here in Sullivan County. This is a memorial set up for Evelyn Boswell, the 15-month-old baby that has been missing, that you all have been following this story for quite a while. As you see, people are joined here in the community. We've talked to people from all over the country that are here today just to come by and pray together, maybe hug on each other. As you can see, this is a very emotional time for people. They're coming together right now to say a prayer.
Meghan's father was absolutely devastated by
Come
this.
in a little closer, Will.
I think he put up 10,000 of his own money for a reward fund.
All of us did. And it just really just ripped my heart out to think that somebody could be this evil to do this. I got 12 beautiful grandbabies, and I could not imagine. And I just felt like coming out here would just give me a little bit of closure, give everybody, the community and everybody around the world, a little bit of closure for this beautiful baby, and for everybody to show her that she did have love. Even if she didn't have it with her family, she had it with all of us strangers, and we've all became a family this morning, and I just I didn't realize it was going to get this big. I'm very grateful to everybody. I thank everybody. I just
Such a
just want to
sweet
show her that
memorial
she
they
was
had for her.
all this love and support from everybody, that she knows this to try to get recognized or anything like that.
Choose to have a memorial at those two spots.
Well, I chose the jail because
Sorry, guys. I don't know
that's
what
where
all this
baby
video had in
Evelyn
it,
needs
so
somebody to speak for her. This baby went through something that she shouldn't have had to go through. We're supposed to protect our children, and if we don't, who is?
amen to that.
They say are likely to be the remains of 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell. This property does belong to her grandfather. His name is Tommy Boswell Sr. And this is the area. We're not sure exactly what area police or authorities found those remains, but this is the area. People are still coming in. It's growing by the minute. People coming by and just dropping off balloons and teddy bears and signs. There's a sign here, right here, that says, Evelyn Boswell, we love you, baby girl. Justice for Evelyn, we love you, with a picture of her. And also something.
So I lived out there during this time, and the outpouring of love and
See, there's a lot
support
of emotion
from the
in the
community
area.
was
There's a lot of emotion
absolutely
here in the crowd.
incredible. Much
Just
like how
with
we
this
see with
baby.
Summer Wells.
There's some messages here. The memorial sites set up for 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell. And this was just created here late last night, early this morning. And it just continues to grow.
All right. So then we're at March 10th, 2020. The family of Evelyn's father, Ethan Perry, released a statement saying, in part, quote unquote, our focus has always been Evelyn and now on the investigation and bringing all of those responsible to justice. We have complete faith and confidence in law enforcement to do just that. March 11th, the TBI confirmed the remains found belonged to Evelyn Boswell. That same day, a judge sealed court documents about Evelyn's autopsy. Sullivan County DA General Barry Staubus requested the results be sealed. He said, I thought it was necessary because of the publicity the case has engendered and because it's still under investigation. I thought it would maintain the integrity of the investigation. Well, we later did get those results, and I did a video on that. March 12th, members of the Boswell family released a statement a day after investigators confirmed Evelyn's remains were found. The statement said, the immediate Boswell family, excluding Angela Jones Boswell, who is Meghan's mother, of Evelyn, are in anguish and grief over their loss. It has been a very rough and trying time for everyone. At this time, they do not want to speak publicly in regards to the tragedy. They are still trying to process what has happened. They ask for media and the public to respect their wishes. They need more time to grieve privately. April 27th, 2020. As of April 27th, Meghan Boswell had been in jail for 45 days for the false reporting charge. Investigators said they were still waiting to receive autopsy and toxicology results in the case, but the results will not be made public due to a judge's court order to keep them under seal. Then on May 6, 2020, The Sullivan County Sheriff's Office said a person of interest was being investigated in relation to the death of Evelyn. Officials said they had still not received autopsy results on Evelyn as of that day. Then on May 8th, Meghan Boswell appeared in court. Lawyers reviewing the case said they needed more time to review interviews with Boswell before submitting the case to a grand jury. State prosecutor Teresa Nelson said there were more than 25 hours of video interviews with Boswell to review before the case could be submitted. And then on May 21st, officials with the Sullivan County DA's office confirmed a grand jury indicted Meghan on 11 counts of false reporting charges. May 27th, 2020, Meghan appears before a judge and is arraigned on false reporting charges. A judge decided that Boswell's bond would remain in place, and they set the next hearing for July 31st, 2020. Then on July 31st, Meghan appeared before Sullivan County Judge James Goodwin via video conference. Prosecutors wanted to move Boswell's hearing date to a time after August 19th. They said they intended to bring another matter regarding Ms. Boswell to the grand jury on August 19th. Her hearing was then set for August 28th. And then on August 19th of 2020, Wednesday morning, the TBI announced there were new updates in the Evelyn Boswell's case with intentions to hold a press conference later that day. At 5:30 p.m., investigators announced Meghan Boswell was indicted on 19 counts, including 2 counts of felony murder. Boswell's hearing was set for August 28th, and she was being held on a $1 million bond.
Police say a Tennessee toddler was killed by the one person who was supposed to protect her. Meghan Boswell, the teen mom who has been in jail for months now, is now today charged with murdering her daughter, Evelyn. Good evening. Glad you're here for WVLT News at 10. I'm Ted Hall.
And I'm Amanda Hara. Thanks for joining us. Police levied a laundry list of charges against Meghan Boswell tonight. The most serious, felony murder. It's a massive break in a case that started in Sullivan County and captured the attention of people across the country.
My office has received dozens of calls and messages over the last several months from concerned residents wanting to make sure that we had not forgotten about baby Evelyn. I assure you we haven't and we won't.
2-year-old Evelyn Boswell was found dead on family property in Sullivan County back in March. She was reported missing in February, but investigators say she disappeared weeks before anyone came forward. An Amber Alert lasted weeks and spanned several states.
Our hearts and prayers go out to the family and friends who love baby Evelyn, along with the many citizens who, like us, develop deep-seated love for this sweet little girl.
The child's mother, Meghan Boswell, charged with lying to authorities, has been in the Sullivan County Jail for months. Now, she faces 19 charges, including felony murder, tampering with evidence, and abuse of a corpse. Authorities say they can't discuss the circumstances that led to Evelyn's death since it's an ongoing investigation, but they say Boswell is the only suspect. For months, police said that Boswell gave a different story every time they interviewed her. She shared one version about what happened with local reporters months ago.
I just want her back. That's all I want. I've been so long without her, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, why didn't you report it missing earlier? Because my mom threatened me, and I just want her back. That's all I can think about is how much I just want her back.
In another version of a story that Meghan Boswell is also captured on camera saying that she knew who had her daughter but didn't report it because she feared retaliation. During tonight's news conference, the head of TBI Knoxville's former police chief, who we heard from earlier, begged people to report suspected child abuse. Meghan Boswell's bond is set at $1 million. A hearing is set for later this month. You can watch today's full news conference on the WVLT Facebook page.
All right. So that kind of brings us up to the current date. Today is June 20th, 2024. And Meghan got rid of her original attorney, Sproles. She has a different attorney now. And she was back in court today. So today let me share this screen real quick. Basically, her new attorney wanted to have a hearing regarding her court request for a change of venue. And her attorney, Jean Scott, the court set a new date of August 15th of this year to discuss a change of venue motion. Prior to the hearing, Boswell was served with a new indictment charging her with first-degree murder. That is new, you guys. That is breaking. She is being charged now also with first-degree murder. The new charge alleges Evelyn's death was premeditated and intentional. The new count is in addition to her 2 previous felony murder charges. She was arraigned while in court today and pleaded not guilty to the new charge. News Channel 11 did stream the court appearance, and that can be viewed. The second judicial DA, Barry Staubis, told News Channel 11 that the new charge was added after new evidence came to light. It was based on additional evidence that we obtained after the initial present. So we decided we would add an additional charge of first-degree murder, premeditated. However, Scott said during an interview with News Channel 11 after the hearing that he has seen no reason why a new charge would be added so late into the case. There's been nothing new to indicate why this was brought 4 years later, Scott said. No new discovery, no new anything as to why now, as opposed to if she's guilty of premeditated murder, why was it not charged in 2020? Good question. The new charge brings the total number of counts against Boswell to 20. In August 2020, Boswell was indicted on 19 other charges, including 2 counts of felony murder in Evelyn's death. Other counts included aggravated child abuse, aggravated child neglect, false reports, and failure to report a death under suspicious, unusual, or unnatural circumstances. Scott urged the public to wait until the facts were laid out before making their judgment in Boswell's case. There shouldn't be a rush to judgment in this case, Scott said. No evidence has been presented yet I have people text me, talk to me about their thoughts that she's guilty, or you see on Facebook. Scott said he has seen comments on stories posted to media outlets, social media pages from the public. He said he has read multiple comments from people saying the court process is taking too long and it's being dragged out. This girl is charged with first-degree murder, and she's entitled to a fair trial. I just want people to give her the benefit of the doubt, he said. Give her a presumption of innocence and wait and see what the evidence actually shows. After the hearing Thursday, Staubis also reaffirmed his belief that an impartial jury can be found in Sullivan County and that the trial won't require a change of venue. We believe that we can pick a jury that can fairly hear the facts of this case and render a decision based on the facts and the law, Staubis said. Scott, her attorney, disagreed. He said, I think we would have better luck seating a jury if we tried from a different section of the state as opposed to Sullivan County. Scott said at this point, he's not so much hoping for the trial to be held outside of Sullivan County is to elsewhere and bring them to the county. This case has been picked up in most of the major news markets in Tennessee, but it has not been examined as heavily, say, in the Nashville market or in the Memphis market as it would be here because it's not local for them, Scott said. Boswell was first arrested in February 2020 on a charge of false reports following the issuance of an Amber Alert for Evelyn. Investigators found Evelyn's remains in March 2020, and Meghan was indicted on 19 counts by a grand jury in August of 2020. Prosecutors announced in January 2021 that they intended to seek a sentence of life in prison without parole if Meghan was found guilty. And then I believe we do have her court appearance from today. It won't let me do a full screen, so.
All right, Ms. Boswell, before the court. I think we were here today for the change, argue or to have a hearing on a change of denier. And through some emails that the court was privy to yesterday.
Judge, I want to ask for more time. I conveyed that to Mr. Harper yesterday. There's some additional things I want to do, change the pin our motion. I recognize that we need to do that probably sooner rather than later. Should that be granted, it will take some time to logistically set everything. And if the court denies that, there's likely to be a separate motion to sequester the jury. If we do pick the Sullivan County jury, I'll be asking if that jury be sequestered. I think Ms. Boswell needs to be arraigned as well on the presentment from the grand jury.
There was a representing the case on May 27th, 2024. She waived her but not guilty.
She does, Judge.
Tell me what things are we need to do, or you need to do for the denier motion.
Judge, there's additional, there's proof I want to bring forward beyond the scope of the jury questionnaires. We haven't done that yet. My investigator, Mr. Templeton, and I were talking about that earlier today. We think we can pinpoint the amount of news coverage here as it relates to this case as opposed to other areas in the state. And I think that's something that's important that we want to do. And also, we have not filed any affidavits at this point from anyone here in the county, and I want to explore that option as well.
So you want to be heard?
No, Your Honor.
August 2nd.
Judge, I'll be out of town that week.
July 26th.
So, I would rather not. I don't have my flight booked, and that's the week we're going to take our vacation. And I'm not exactly sure as to what day. Could we go to possibly the August 8th or 9th? No.
The 15th.
Yes, sir. I have a case in Kingsport General Sessions Court. I'm sure they'll let me move that.
We'll do it at 1:30.
That's when it's set, but I'm tripping. I'll ask them to move that.
August 15th at 1:30.
That's fine.
I'm going to take a very short break so the media can do what they need to do to get out of here. Break their equipment in. I can see the lawyers in the back.
So as of now, Meghan's trial date is set for February 3rd of 2025. But we'll see if that holds. All right. And then finally, I'm just going to share a little bit of this video I created. This was a year ago, and this was the cause of death that had come out at that time. I encourage you guys to go watch this video on your own. It's 21 minutes long, so I don't want to play the whole thing, but I will play a little bit of it for you guys real quick.
wearing a pink tracksuit.
Because I'm just not, but
Honestly, it's been a long time since you've seen.
Suspicious or unusual or unnatural circumstances.
Baby Evelyn's body was found on March 6th. Since that time, my detectives, TBI agents, and the DA's office have worked tirelessly conducting interviews, combing through evidence, and establishing a timeline in order to determine the circumstances. Because thank God, most of us are not wired that way. But we can certainly try our best to make sure that those responsible for these incomprehensible acts are held accountable. Today's indictment is the first step in assuring that that happens. Our hearts and prayers go out to the family and friends who love baby Evelyn, along with the many citizens who, like us, developed
upside down in a garbage can.
Okay, so
What's
here
really
is what
important for
caused the
me
death.
was to show the placement of the foil and how tightly actually one can see the outline of the head and upper body with a foil
Horrific.
attached. So it's not crumpled foil from somebody, I don't know, barbecuing or doing something and then putting it next to the child. It's actually wrapped around the upper part of the child.
The photos also show indentions on Evelyn's head and body from the foil and.
So again, that is the cause of death that was revealed in Evelyn Boswell's case. And you can go watch that on my channel. I'll put a card right up here at the top for you guys with a link to that. And other than that, that's it. So a new charge of first-degree murder on Meghan Boswell, the mother of now deceased Evelyn Boswell. And also the judge is pushing back on having a change of venue. Anyway, I hope that this caught you guys all up on this case. I will continue to cover it straight through the trial. The trial will probably be televised. The court hearings have been. I imagine the trial itself will be as well. And like I said, I think that's scheduled for this next February. If anything comes up between now and then, I will certainly let you guys know. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you joining me for this premiere. If you're not yet a member, please consider joining the membership. It's a great way to support me and my channel. Please give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whichever you like. And if you're not a current subscriber, please subscribe. That's all I ask. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you for spending the last hour and a half with me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.